Hey y'all, today I am in the kitchen making some Babka. Babka is like a cross between a braided bread and a cake. To me, this almost reminds me of a really rich, delicious chocolate croissant. So let's get started. We're about to make a mess. Hope y'all are ready for it. First, in a small bowl, you're gonna get a cup of warm milk and 2 1/4 teaspoon of yeast. Give everything a good stir and sit it aside and let it get a little foamy for about 5 minutes or so. In a separate largish bowl, you're going to go ahead and crack open 1 egg and add in 2 egg yolks. Now we're going to add in 1/4 cup of white sugar. Now we're going to add in 1/4 cup of honey. My honey is crystallized, which means it was a fresh local honey from a local bee farm, and it has been sitting in my pantry in a jar where it's dark and cool, and it starts to crystallize. That's totally normal for honey. If you were to sit it out by a window, it will go back to its normal consistency. Now I'm going to add in 1.5 teaspoons or so of vanilla. Give everything a really good stir. And now your milk mixture is probably ready. So let's go ahead and pour that in. Now we're going to add in 4 cups of all-purpose flour. And we're going to give everything a really good stir. Just keep stirring, just keep stirring, just keep stirring, stirring, stirring. In a second, I'm about to pull out the best kitchen tools ever. Do you know what those are? Can you guess? Don't fast forward. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think it is. We're almost there. Let's go ahead and add in 10 tablespoons of butter, which is like a stick, and 2 extra tablespoons of butter. My butter's softened, by the way. All right, I got my best kitchen tools out. It's my hands. Who knew I was gonna say that? All right, we're gonna mix this really, really well till it forms into a really good dough ball. Now we're going to cover this with some plastic wrap or a tea towel and let it sit for about 30 minutes. Okay, now it's ready. Whew, that was fast. All right, we're going to go ahead and flour our surface. Go ahead and get out your dough. Flour up your hands, and we're going to start kneading our dough until it gets a really good dough consistency. You'll know what I mean as you're rolling it. They see me rolling. They see me rolling. They hate it. Yeah, I needed more flour. It's getting a little sticky up in here. Tuck and fold. Tuck and fold. Okay, let's form it into a ball. Now you're gonna cut your ball in half. Let's put each ball in its own individual small bowl. And again, we're gonna cover these with some plastic wrap, and we're gonna let them rise for about 2-ish hours or until they're like doubled in size. Now that mine have doubled in size, it's been over 2 hours obviously, I'm gonna go ahead and flour my surface again. This bread is so kneady, so you're gonna have to knead it just a little bit, and then we're gonna roll it out into a large or a good sized rectangle. Okay, so now in a medium-sized saucepan, we're gonna go ahead and add in 12 ounces of bittersweet chocolate, about 3/4 cups of butter, or like a stick and a half of butter, a half a cup of sugar, 1/4 cup of cocoa powder. I like to use the dark cocoa powder, a tablespoon of some ground cinnamon, 2 teaspoons of espresso powder, and a half a cup of turbinado sugar. I cook this on medium to low just to let it get all melted and well combined. It took about 3 minutes or so. The likelihood of you not sampling this right now is pretty slim. It smells amazing and it tastes amazing. Okay, so now we're gonna come over to our first dough rectangle and we're gonna smooth some out over the top of this, but don't go all the way to the edges. We're gonna leave a little bit of room on the edges and mainly just smooth this out all into the middle section. Okay, now we're ready to tuck and roll. So we are going to pull out a little bit of our dough, and as we pull it and stretch it out, we're going to tuck it in and roll it at the same time. It's important that you get it good and tucked in before you do your roll. That way you're not having it fall apart and having a gap and all that kind of stuff as it bakes. I told you it was going to get messy in here. I've got chocolate all over my hands. I'm going to get chocolate all over my counter. Keep your seam down, that way it's not opening on the sides, and give it all a good tuck. And do the same thing to your other piece of dough. Now we're gonna cut each of our long logs in half. Now let's get a piece of parchment paper. I feel like it's a little bit easier when I do this, when I get my parchment paper out and sit this on top. I'm gonna get 2 pieces and lay them horizontally. I'm gonna get my 3rd piece and do it vertically, and then I'm gonna tuck one of them under like you're doing a braid. Same thing with the other one, only opposite one that I'm gonna tuck it under this time. This can get kind of confusing, so we're gonna twist and braid and go around, and you're gonna find the pieces that work for you. You're really just wanting to make it into a circle or a big round loaf. Everyone does this part differently, so you can actually put this in 2 loaf pans. You can make one big loaf like I'm doing. It's really up to you, as long as you remember to get each of your end piece and tuck it under. Your loaf is going to turn out pretty no matter what. So I'm just going to keep braiding and twisting and tucking until I get a good round looking loaf. Now you're going to transfer this over onto your pan, or in this case I'm using a stone pizza pan, and I'm actually going to take this off of my parchment paper and then just put it directly on my stone. So now it doesn't look quite as messy, right? Now I did a simple egg wash with a little bit of an egg white and a little bit of water, and just put this over the top of your loaf before you put it in the oven. And now you're gonna have your oven preheating on 375, and we're gonna pop this in there and let it bake for about 35 minutes. Look how good this looks. My whole house smells so good. Okay, it's been 35 minutes and it is ready to take out. Look at this beauty. Oh my goodness, all that chocolate on the top. Wow. Melt in your mouth. Let's cut into it. Let's try a bite. Do you see this texture right now? Oh my gosh, y'all. Wow. This is super impressive for making it at home yourself. I am so ready to take a bite of this. Oh my goodness.